Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Dr. Joe from Stats and Tats with another 2-minute tutorial for you. Today we're talking about significance, right? And if you know anything about statistical significance, when we talk about that, what we're saying is essentially that data has some degree of like validity or is in some way vetted as being good data, right? Or good output anyway, right? And by definition, significance kind of represents the likelihood that the data we found would be accidental in a normal data set or normally distributed data set, right? And if you know about stats, we don't really want to deal in chance and accident and things just kind of falling together. We want to know with some degree of certainty. In psychology, for example, we tend to use a significance level of 0.05, right? And essentially what that means is that we need at least 95% certainty that what we found was not by chance, was not an accident of the data set, right? So we set the threshold at 0.05 and we want our significance to fall below that. We utilize the variable P to represent significance, right? So essentially what we're looking for is data that is at a P is less than 0.05 level, right? This allows us to have a certain degree of certainty in an uncertain world, and particularly because we're dealing with human behavior, and you can never be certain about human behavior, we utilize that as kind of the gold standard of, is it significant or is it not? Let's be clear, we want our p-value to be low, below 0.05, because we want to have very little margin of error, margin of chance, if you think of it like that, right? So a lower p-value indicates a greater degree of confidence in what we have found. Other industries besides psychology tend to use much more rigorous p-values of 0.001, 0.00001. There's also what's called sigma 6. There's different levels of this, but 0.05 is going to be that area that really establishes that your data is worth considering. One last note, if it's less than 0.05, it's significant. If it's greater than 0.05, it is not significant. There's not a gray area. There's not a kind of. It is or is not. Just as Yoda would say, do or do not, there is no try.